At this point, a pickup truck appeared out of nowhere. It was quickly overtaking us. Its speed seemed out of place as we were doing 120 an hour. As soon as it passed us, it slewed across our front, forcing Sumana to brake. "What the hell?" I exclaimed, woken out of my reverie. Before we came to a complete stop, I saw two African figures in the bed of the truck in front leap into action. One knelt, raising a Kalashnikov assault rifle, or AK-47, and aimed from about 4 meters away through the windshield into our driver's face. The other one, hand on the tailgate, vaulted into the road with his AK in the other hand. They were shouting. Sumana was frozen. I hadn't yet looked at Louis, seated in the back to my left. Sumana's door had been wrenched open and hands were dragging him out by the scruff of his neck toward the truck in front. My first instinct was to protect my dearest possession, an expensive camera with a valuable lens. I was placing it gently at my feet in the right rear seat well when Louis's door on the left was torn open and he too was being hauled out. Through the windshield, I saw Louis being frog-marched towards the back of the truck in front as Sumana was boosted none too gently over the tailgate. I looked out my window to the right, assessing the possibility of escape. There was a wide cleared strip on my side of the highway, a line of scrubby bushes down a slight slope, perhaps 40 meters distant. Could I get the door open and run for it, and hide in that scrub? Would they shoot? How well? Would they linger long enough to come after me? Could I abandon Louis and Sumana to whatever fate awaited them? How much use could I be to them anyway? But before I had fully exited my side, still undecided, the taller of the AK-waving young men had me by the upper arm. He shoved me towards the truck, shouting "Dépêchez-vous," then pushed and lifted me into the arms of his colleague. Once in the truck bed, I saw that he was standing on Louis and Sumana, who were lying prostrate with horrified looks on their faces. I was thrown on top of them. From my what-the-hell realization that something was seriously amiss, to our being slung aboard our kidnapper's truck and driven off in the opposite direction, no more than 40 seconds had elapsed. It had been a slick, violent, well-coordinated, and impeccably executed grab. No matter how we framed it, things did not look good. I didn't think the Niger Armed Forces were capable of flying search and rescue missions at night, if indeed they could get their helicopters into the air at all. Our captors were obviously avoiding any chance of running into a police roadblock by the simple expedient of avoiding all roads. Further, every passing minute extended the radius of the search area. A couple of hours before dawn, we skidded to a stop. Omar, an Arab-featured man in his mid-40s, and the one clearly in charge, announced, "I must sleep," opened his door, and rolled onto the truck. Hassan, the shorter and stockier of the two African abductors, was tightly masked ninja-like. He cut the tape binding our wrists, threw a blanket from the back of the truck onto the hard-packed sand, and told us to rest. He led Sumana away to some other place. Ibrahim, a tall, thin African referred to as Le Sénégalais, took sentry duty. I was terribly thirsty, but had got it into my addled brain that I must not drink the murky, sludgy brown water from their large 10-liter plastic container. If I did so, I was convinced I would contract dysentery. Tea, however, seemed reasonably safe. Ibrahim was dropping handfuls of tea and sugar into the pot, and I hoped to cage a glass or two. It was the Arab version, hot, green, very sweet, and served in minuscule glasses, which would not greatly alleviate my increasing dehydration. When I was standing above him, he looked up at me with a sardonic, firelit smile and asked, "So, have you figured out who we are yet?" I had been dreading this moment for most of the preceding 12 hours. I asked without conviction, "Are you not the Mouvement des Nigériens pour la Justice?" Ibrahim snorted with derision. "I told you I was Senegalese. What would I be doing hanging around with a group of amateurs like that?" I simply stared at him as the fire danced in his menacing black eyes. Finally, Drawing out the moment with cruel anticipation, he fiercely spat the words, "We are Al-Qaeda," and the bottom fell out of my world.